Hey, this is Robert Flagg, and I'm here with Roy Mitchell. And what's wrong with now is his new book. Roy, tell us who you are and what is What's Wrong with Now all about.
How you doing, Robert? This the book. I am Roy Mitchell, and I pastor a church here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Actually, it's called the Jehovah Jireh Church of God in Christ. Been pastoring for about 20 years now.
Mhm.
I believe that God inspired me to write this book to help people that may be struggling with life or just want to better their lives. It doesn't matter how rich you are, how poor you are, whether you're black, white, green, or green. Does not matter. It matters is that you take charge of what God has given us. I believe God has given us all a measure of faith that we can use to our benefit. And this book just outlines us how you can take charge and take advantage of what you already have and you just don't know it.
Mhm. What was the inspiration to write this book?
The inspiration is that I see so many young people and a lot of old people that just don't know uh, what they're looking for. It's they don't know they have the already have the intestinal fortitude to make changes in their life. See, Robert, it doesn't take big changes or great things to change who you are.
Mhm.
Just the little small things. You can start doing one thing and take charge of your whole life. It's the little bit things that matter. It's not the big things.
Mhm.
And that's what inspired me to write this book.
And this title, What's Wrong with Now? How did that come about?
It's saying it's not too late. It's
Mhm.
never too early or it's not too late. Don't think you're too young. Don't think you're too old. Don't think you're too smart or not smart enough. You don't have God don't call the qualified. He qualifies the call.
Mhm. For people that buy your book, what is the one thing you want them to come away with it?
I want them to come away with a new vision of their own life, not somebody else's life. It's easy to judge others. It would be easy for me to sit here and judge you about what you need and what you don't need. But when I can take charge of my own life, by you seeing what I've done with my own life, will inspire you to do something with your life. And that's the reason that is the premises behind me writing this book. To show the change can come to anybody. Doesn't have to be. Sometimes we sit around trying to wait till we get a certain amount of money or get to a certain position in life. You can do it with anything, anywhere, anytime. And
Mhm.
that's what this book will outline you to do. It's no magic about it.
Mhm.
It's just enlightening what God has already given.
Mhm.
And He's freely given it to us. You just don't know you have it.
God, do you feel that God inspired you to write this book? And so, what was the inspiration that was given from God to you?
I know He inspired me to write this book. The reason I know it is because I live by the Spirit of God. Let me tell you something about the Spirit of God. People, especially in today's time in which we live, people want you to prove the scriptures to them. You cannot do that because the scripture is all about belief. And I feel that, and I believe that God has given me the ability to inspire others by making changes in me, not making changes in others. If the change does not affect me, why should I uh, think that it would affect you?
Mm-hmm.
So when you see me change, it automatically makes a change in you.
Mm-hmm.
If I can do it, you can do it. I was not the smartest in school. I was not the fastest. I was not the slowest. I was not the biggest. But I was willing, and willingness is the one thing that I was seeing a lot of people today. And if I can catch a young man or a young woman, it's a whole lot easier to raise a young man and a young woman than to fix an old man or old woman. But if I can catch an old man or an old woman that may have missed out, I'm just telling you, it's not too late. What's wrong with
Mm-hmm.
right now?
Yeah, I love that title. That title speaks volumes, no pun intended there, but it does. Talk about that title and just say it for me. Like, what's wrong with now? What made you just really say, this is it? This is the title. How did you get that title?
Well, like I said, it comes from my beliefs. If you, I don't know if you know the story of, about Jesus and Lazarus in the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
where Jesus was at a place and he received word from Lazarus, the sister, that Lazarus was sick and about to die. And he was only a couple of days away, but he chose to stay where he was, knowing that his best friend was sick. But by the time he got there, Lazarus was dead. So Martha came out, one of Lazarus' sisters, and said, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But Jesus said, I am the resurrection and the life. And if you believe in me, even though you're dead,
Mhm.
you can still live.
Mhm.
So what's wrong with right now? And after he met Mary repeat the same thing. He said, but take me show me where you laid him. He said, by now he's speaking, Jesus. Just so what? What's wrong with right now? You forget what I told you. If you believe that I can do this, I can do it.
Mhm.
It's all about belief. If you can grab and hold on to what you believe and put it into action, God will take care of you and he will make the needle move. This is not a Christian book. This is
Mhm.
about just everyday people taking charge of what God has already freely given.
Mhm.
And I truly believe that.
We as a people, we as a nation, we as just individuals, we as business people. So you can hit either one of them or all of them. How do we take charge from what's in your book? What is some of the messages that from your book that we can just start right now to make that belief, make that change?
Let's start with, I believe it's chapter 1 in this book. And when I was writing it, God put this on my heart. It's about overcoming failure.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you try anything, you're gonna fail at something.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes failure is albatrosses around the neck, and we just can't overcome it. We can't succeed for thinking about the last time we failed. Some people never fall in love again because they got their hearts broken.
Mm-hmm.
I say, and I believe that you don't learn how to love until you got your heart broken.
Right.
I believe that you don't learn how to save until you've been broke.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that you don't appreciate things until you've had nothing. I've lived in times when I've had plenty, and it's been times in my life when I've had nothing. But I never stopped believing. I've lost money, houses, and land, but I never lost my faith.
Mm-hmm. We kind of have similar stories. I'm just going to touch on me just a little bit so we can kind of tie it to the book here. I had back surgery.
Yeah.
And it came to a point where I had to just stop.
Yeah.
Lost everything in one sense.
Sure.
The only thing that brought me through was my faith,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the people that prayed with me and for me. You use the word belief. You use the word faith. Belief and faith. And I mean, for you to even write the book, you had to have belief in it.
Oh, yeah.
And have the faith in it.
Sure.
But you also got the vision from it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So with the belief and the faith and the vision, what is it from your book? Any chapter you want to pick that somebody else can get from this?
Let me show you something. On page 39, I believe, is my favorite quote, and it's dealing with negativity in your life. It says, stop worrying about what you might lose. If it's holding you back, get rid of it. If it's too heavy, lay it down. If you can't handle it, leave it alone. If you can't figure it out, give it to God. So it's no excuse. It doesn't matter about your physical attributes. It doesn't matter about your mental acuity. Doesn't matter about anything. Doesn't matter what you lost or gained.
Mm-hmm.
You can make it if you try.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's this is just really divine just to meet you just in the book and all, and the inspiration I'm getting from you is also the inspiration that was put into me without even reading the book, but just here in its presence and everything. It just how it all comes together. When people read your book, they're going to be inspired, like you've been inspired. What is the inspiration that you want people to get from this read?
Inspiration I want you to get is to know that God works in you in failure just like he does in success. But you got to understand God's power is manifested in our weakness.
Mm.
Paul said to God once, if you remove this thorn from my flesh, then I can serve you. But God said to Paul, my grace is sufficient for you.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, If you really want to serve me, you can serve me crippled. You can serve me blind.
Mm-hmm.
You can serve me lame. It ain't about how you look and what you have. It's about what you believe. God is the power. He is the source.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I don't want to sound like this is a religious book because it's really not. It's for anybody.
Well, is it a spiritual book?
Pardon?
Is it a spiritual book?
It has spiritual connotations.
All right, so describe this book. How do you describe it to me or anybody else that wants to buy it? How do you describe your book?
I describe it as a way out of your situation or a way to take charge of what you already have. Doesn't do any good to have a fastest horse and don't know how to ride it.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't do any good to have the fastest car and don't know how to drive it.
Right.
So it teaches you how to take charge of what God has already freely given you. It's not that we don't have what we need to be successful. It's willing to use it. Now let me give you an example. Even though I didn't vote for him, President-elect Trump is a prime example. Whenever the whole nation, pretty much, or half the nation, said you're guilty, you're no good, he had to believe that he could still do it. And he did it, like it or not, he did it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you can't do that on your own. You got to have a higher belief in a higher calling in knowing that God's going to bring you out some kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people may not like me for saying it, but the truth is the truth.
But in one sense, so what you can say about him, you can also say about African Americans, the Hispanics, any culture. We have all, in one sense, been given that guilty, 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 no good, no good, you're this, you're that, you're blah, blah, blah. But yet, what's wrong with now? That you can come through it, huh? So talk about that. How do you come through with what's wrong with now?
Well, it starts it's like digging a hole. You find out you dug yourself in a hole. What is the first thing you do? You got to stop digging
Mm-hmm.
and start figuring a way to get out.
Mm-hmm.
If you keep going the way you've been going, odds are you won't get no further than what you've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
One person asked me, said, why don't you do things a certain way? I said, if I go the way, the paved way or the cut out way, I can only go as far as that road takes me.
Mm-hmm.
But if I create my own way,
Mm-hmm.
the possibilities are endless. It's just one caveat to that.
Mm-hmm.
It comes with a great risk. The caveat in creating your own way is that it's a lot of risk. So weigh the cost. Let me tell you something. When I started my business, I had a job, I had a secure job. But by the time I wanted to start my business, I had a family, 3 little kids, and house note, car note, wife to take care of. Wasn't it easy when I was single? But I had a choice. I could stay where I was or risk where I was going. I chose to take the risk. Now, I admit, statistics will bear me out that many of us could try and fail. But I would rather try something and fail at it than to keep something that I don't want and succeed at it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to succeed in failure.
Right.
I'd rather die trying than to succeed living on something that I don't like to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's about charting your own waters, charting your way. There's something about being a pioneer. It's just something that it's almost like I like deer hunting. It's something like when I get out there and I smell the first smell of gunpowder I had smelled all year. It strengthens me some kind of way. It gives me that animal mentality that makes me want to go further, look around a little further. Let me tell you something, a little short story. When I was a little boy, Dad wouldn't let me. I was too little to have a gun. But I raised in the country. We hunted with dogs, and I go hunting with the dogs all the time. And he always would tell me, "Son, you need to stay out of those woods. He's the devil gonna run you out of those woods one day." But I kept going having hunt with dogs. Then one day, dogs jumped the rabbit, and I was trying to catch up with the dogs. And I ran into this area thinking that the dogs had the rabbit in that area, and only to find out that there was a big snake there, and it scared me so bad that I couldn't move, and the snake crawled right by me. Now I was more careful after that, but it never cured my appetite for hunting. I still go.
Yeah.
It's not about killing anything. It's about the adventure.
Yeah.
I don't want to live an adventureless life. I like to take the risk. I know everybody's not the same. It's not about losing. It's about what you might gain.
Tell me this, from your experiences as a little boy to as a businessman to a grown man to a family man, your book, what are the things that, what am I trying, you get where I'm going with this? It's like there's something from your childhood that's in this book. There's something that's from a businessman that's in this book. There's something as a family man that's in this
Yes,
book.
I see what you're talking
There's something that touch on each one of those things
about.
that
Let me tell you something. I came from a little town, a little Runner's community about 30 miles southeast of Dallas here. I pulled cotton as a young man, as a little boy, handed it to a young man. Alcohol, vape, expense, you name it, I've done it.
Mhm.
But I always wanted to go to the next level. And at first I thought, and then I addressed it in this book. First I thought it was just about making money and having a lot of women and stuff like that. But every time I would taste the measure of success, it wasn't enough. I'd always want to do something else. Then I found out it really ain't about the money. It's about fulfillment in life. And that's what this book teaches you, how to live a fulfilled life.
Mhm.
If life, actually, rich people can be just as empty as a poor man
Mhm.
because you're living an unfulfilled life. I believe until you do what God has sanctioned you to do, your life will be unfulfilled. This book will show you how
Mhm.
to live a fulfilled life and take you from point A to point B. And it's not about what you do, it's the journey that you take getting to where you are. Because nobody knows where you are. Life is about discovery.
Mhm.
And unless you find out who you are or what you want to do, you'll be searching and wondering your whole life. Right now, I can actually say I know who I am and I love what I'm doing. And I'll continue doing it till I die because my job is never finished. This is only the beginning. And the time to start, if you're already doing it, keep doing it. If you're not doing it, what's wrong with right now?
This book is inspiring, right?
Yes, it is.
Why is it inspiring? What makes it so inspiring?
Because it changes who you are. Not so much as making you a Superman or anything. It's getting you to believe what you already possess. See, it's not about how good you are. I don't want anybody to think I'm good. It's about what you're willing to do with what you have. You know, I was watching a Western one time and it stuck with me. Uh, this young gunfighter was going to fight the old gunfighter. And the young gunfighter told the old gunfighter, so I'm faster than you. But the old gunfighter said, yeah, but I'll kill you every time. He said, why do you think that? He said, because you, you have to think about it. He said, I won't. He said, you've never killed a man. I have. I won't hesitate. You will, and that's the only edge I need.
Mm-hmm.
So this book gives me that edge. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to prepare. I don't have to get up and study.
Mm-hmm.
I know who I am. And when you read this book, you'll find out who you are. You'll find your purpose in life. And when you find your purpose, when you know what you know, you don't have to hesitate. If you were a mechanic rock and you know what each wrench does at a particular time, you don't have to try to see what it'll do. You'll say, hand me that 916, hand me that half inch. You know exactly what it will do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this book will empower you to do.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of this book, how do we get this book, Roy? Look. I want to get the first autographed copy. Tell us how we can get this book in all forms and formats.
Great, glad you asked. You can write me directly or call me directly. You can get it directly from me if you want an autographed copy and if you want a free copy. You can call me at 214-276-3014. And like I said, as an introductory
Can you
offer,
say that again a little bit slower?
214-276-3014.
Okay.
And if you do that, I will give you an introductory offer. I'll give you a second book free. All you pay is shipping and handling.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can buy it on Amazon.com. Amazon.com. It's more than one What's Wrong With Now book on Amazon. But if you put Roy Mitchell in there, you will get this book.
Okay. Stress that part again about you. If you go to Amazon, put just Roy Mitchell because that's
Yes, it's more than one. I've already checked it. You can go on Amazon.com And you can get this book, but it's more than one book about what's wrong with now, to my surprise, because I didn't know it at the time I wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
But my picture's on the front, as you can see, and I'm the only one with the picture on the front. And so you can't go wrong. So I'm put What's Wrong with Now, written by Roy Mitchell, and you can't go wrong.
Mm-hmm. Anything else you want to say about your book, about you and this whole experience, this journey?
All I want to say is be the best you can be. Do all you can be. Try everything you can. What are you saving it for? They don't need no book in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
They sure don't need one in hell. So why are you saving it? Whatever you're going to do, you need to do it now. You know, at first I was in the infancy of life. Then I went through midlife. You know, I was a grown man. And now I'm in the twilight of my life. And I don't want to leave nothing undone. It's like playing a game. Why leave it in the locker room? If you're going to play, leave it on the field. Give it all you got. It's not about winning. It's about doing the best you can be. A little something on the back that you like to hear. Life is too short to go unfulfilled. Dreams are too precious to go unrealized. Mountains aren't roadblocks, just opportunities. We owe it to ourselves and to those that follow to be the best that we can be and to open paths that will otherwise remain closed. We pray to God daily for opportunities, but balk at the chance to do something. God blesses efforts, not ideas. People don't die. Dreams don't die, rather. People do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you can die, but if you plant that dream, it's like planting a crop. You plant it, it's gonna come out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I hope to do.
And what's wrong with now?
What's wrong with right now?
Roy, it's been an honor and a pleasure.